The last thing that we want to make sure we go over is the follow-up task feature within iCM. This is not a new feature, but it's also not something that we have widely used here at Bella McCree, but it can be very helpful in regards to incident reporting and communicating back and forth with each other when we're trying to get clarification on an incident. So if your supervisor has assigned you a follow-up task for an incident that you were involved in, you will get a message from that supervisor. So you can click on the My Messages or the little envelope up here. And right here, the subject follow-up task. And it says, "Hi, Abraham," who is my test guy. "I have assigned you a follow-up task for Donald Duck's incident. Please check your My Work. Thank you." So your My Work is off to the left-hand side. You see this little, it looks like a file box, and it says My Work. You're going to go ahead and click on that. And in your tasks, my test guy has a lot of tasks. You, I promise, won't have this many tasks. But in your tasks, you can see that you have been assigned a task, and the title is Shoes. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and then I can see what my supervisor is asking of me. And it says, "Please clarify if Donald was wearing shoes when he was walking down the steps." So on here, if I want to communicate quickly back with my supervisor within this same screen, I can use our mentions feature by clicking on that @ symbol, and maybe my supervisor is George Washington. I'm going to click on his name, and I'm going to say, you know, Donald was wearing his tennis shoes. He was walking down the steps. And then I'm also going to be very detailed, and I'm going to include, you know, he wasn't carrying anything either. Okay. And then I can just go ahead and click comment. If for some reason I was being requested to follow up on something and I wanted to take a picture, or I had a document, I could click on this little paper clip and I could attach a document this way. But if I click on comment here, my supervisor, because I used the mentions feature, will get a little mentions in their work, and they can see that they've been mentioned, and they can click on it and they can see your answer. So I'm going to go ahead and comment this. And then my part on this task is done. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it as done so that it doesn't stay in my tasks. I'm just going to go ahead and say done, and it's going to show up as completed. And if I refresh my screen, then that task will be out of there. The other thing that I do want to show you is if you're assigned to a task, this is a list of all the tasks, but then you can also look at it as a calendar, and you can see, like, this was the shoes that was due today. If I had any other tasks that were due on other days, these look like maybe Abraham Lincoln had past due tasks. If I had tasks upcoming, it would show that as well. So it's just something to help the workflow, make sure that if your supervisor requests anything of you, you can see when it's due, you can see when you've completed. It's a nice timeline for you to make sure that you've completed everything that your supervisor has asked. Your other option, if you didn't want to use mentions, would be to reply back via messages. So you would go into your messages, click on that message, and then here you would just go ahead and type your comment and then click reply. And of course, we can also use our means of communication that we use now. You can use the Bella McCree email. You could use, you know, you could pick up the phone and call. You could text message if that's something that you have established with your supervisor. This is just another form of communication that's available for you to use. It's not a requirement, but it is something that we just wanted to make sure we introduced you to, so that if we are using this a little more in the future, you get more and more comfortable with it.